Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I'm looking a little bit rough, and that's because today I'm going to be trying out a foundation from Chanel, and this is the Ultrawear Teint foundation. I think that's how you pronounce it, and it's one of the newest foundations that they came out with, so I'm pretty excited to try it out. If you want to see this first impressions, just stay tuned. And if you're new here to my channel, hello, my name is Paulina. Thank you so much for stopping by, and yeah, let's get started. I'm actually going to be using a sample size that I got in the magazine issue from Vogue. It came in a little sample size. So I'm going to use this sample to test it out. Hopefully it is enough to give me coverage. But yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about this foundation. That it claims that it lasts for 24 hours like a fresh wear foundation, that it's a flawless, it is a matte foundation, and it's supposed to be a medium to full coverage foundation. So hopefully it does give me coverage because as you can see, my skin is pretty bad. And just for a reference, my skin is very combination. I do have some oily, dry patches, but right now, as you can see, my skin is pretty bad. Like I'm breaking out a lot, and definitely with all this stress, my skin is just not having it. I've been trying to drink a lot more water, try to stay healthy, eat healthy, because my skin definitely it is suffering. And this foundation does retail for $60, and you do get 1 ounce of product, and they only have 30 shades. And the shade that I have here, it is B30. So I hope this foundation works out. And I already prepped my skin. I already did my moisturizing and all of that. So we're good to go. Hopefully it is enough to give me coverage because it is a medium to full coverage. This foundation does have a smell. The Chanel foundations, all of them have the same particular smell to it. And I think this shade might be a little bit dark for me. And the shade that we're going to be going in is with B30. I think it might be a little bit light for me or a little bit dark. And as you can see, the foundation, it's a little bit more like creamy, watery. Apply some here. I think I'm have to use the whole packet because... And to blend this foundation out, I'm going to go with this Japanese brush, and I'm just going to blend this out. And it says you can use your hands to blend this foundation out, but I'm just going to use a brush. Wow, it looks pretty nice. It looks really like... It does not look bad. This is with one pump, if you would consider like one pump. I do have to say it doesn't look bad. It looks like my own skin, just with a little bit more like a dewiness to it. Although this foundation is more like a matte foundation, but definitely it does look a little bit more dewy, and it does feel like it's like my own skin. Although I don't feel like it's giving me any coverage because you can still see my dark spots and you can see some pimples here. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to layer it out and see how that goes. Yeah, the consistency is a little bit more like a moussey, creamy foundation. It's definitely not very liquidy, but it's kind of liquidy but moussey effect. And I feel like the foundation, it's a little bit oxidizing, just a little bit. I feel like it's becoming a little bit more orangey. Bring it down. As you can see from the back of my hand where I start putting the foundation first, it did oxidize a little bit. It did become a little bit more orangey compared to my hand as I was in the beginning. Yeah, I do feel like the foundation, it is oxidizing. And my skin type is very combo. Sometimes it's very dry, sometimes it's oily. Right now it's more like a combination. Some patches are dry, some are oily, but definitely I'm more acne prone skin type. And as you can see, like, you could notice like around my nose, the foundation is sinking into my pores. Definitely this foundation is sinking into my pores, especially on my nose. I feel like the foundation is sinking into my nose, especially on my pores on my nose. I feel and it looks like it's sinking into my pores. It doesn't give me that much full coverage, although it says it's a medium to full coverage. I'm not feeling like it's giving me a full coverage. I feel like it's more like a light to medium coverage because I can still see some of my imperfections. I'm going to try to apply a little bit more foundation because it is a sample size and it comes in a pack, and if I don't use it up, it's going to dry up, and I feel like it wouldn't like it should not affect it if I'm applying a lot more. So I'm just gonna apply where I have like my spots here. Where I'm applying the new foundation, I don't know if you could see the new layer. There's definitely a different shade compared to what I have on my skin. So definitely there, it is very oxidizing. It will oxidize. You could definitely build this foundation up and it won't cake up, because I've been trying to build it up and it doesn't look cakey at all. The only thing, it's like it's not giving me coverage, but I'm building it up slowly and it's not caking up so far. I'm gonna go finish the rest of my face and I'll be right back. I'll check in and see how the foundation is doing. I completed my face makeup, and as you can see, my foundation oxidized. It became really orangey. You can tell from my neck here, like it's a little bit too orange. This foundation really oxidized, but this is how it's looking on my skin. On camera, it looks good. It looks very like matte, but in person, I feel like it's very like tacky. It's very like sticky. It's a sticky, like it's a nice formula when you rub it in, but then it becomes like really tacky on your skin. And I feel like it clinches into my pores, which I do not like, especially around my nose. I have a lot of pores, and then on my cheeks. And I feel like the foundation is clinching into those areas. And also on the sides, I have like really like dry spots, and I feel like it's clinching in there. But other than that, I'm not very happy with this foundation. I definitely do not recommend this foundation. This foundation claims that it's a long-wearing 24-hour foundation, that it's a matte foundation, that it's a foundation that will even out your skin, and that it's basically makes your skin look better. It also claims that it's a medium to full coverage. For me personally, I feel like this foundation is more like light to medium coverage. As you can see, I do have acne. I do have some uneven skin tone, and definitely it did even out my skin tone, but you can still see some of my spots around my face. Like it didn't cover 100%. And I also feel like it sinks into my pores. And I think if you're using this foundation, you do have to use a pore minimizer or something that covers your pores, because this foundation does not cover your pores. Although it claims that it's going to be really like lightweight on your skin, it does feel heavy on my skin. And I did apply like 2 or 3 layers of foundation just because I wanted to see if it's going to build up. In person, you can see my texture on my skin. I feel like this foundation accentuated my texture. You could see my bumps. You could see all my acne coming through. And also this foundation oxidized. Overall, I'm pretty disappointed on this foundation because Chanel does have really good foundations, but this one, it's not that great at all. I do not recommend it, especially for $60. That's a very expensive foundation, and you want a foundation that actually works. If you saw my previous video where I recommended my top luxe foundations, I did mention there that the Perfection Lumiere was one of my all-time favorite foundations, but it got discontinued, and this foundation, the Ultrawear Teint, became like, I believe, the replacement. And definitely I will not recommend this foundation because it's not the greatest foundation. It does feel very tacky, very heavy on the skin. It accentuated my acne, my pimples, my texture that I have. It did give me like a nice coverage, but it oxidized very bad. I'll be leaving this foundation for the rest of the day to see how it's gonna work out, but definitely being my first impression, I do not like this foundation and I would not recommend this foundation at all. And yeah, so make sure to check out the description box where I will leave out like how it went throughout the day. And I hope this video was helpful for you in deciding or not if you want to purchase this foundation. But personally, I wouldn't buy this foundation. This foundation, it's not pretty good. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I would deeply appreciate it if you would hit that red button below. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.